All right, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about obsession when it comes to manifestation. Now, I'll be honest, when it comes to this one, I saw this comment like maybe 2 months ago. I saw like certain conversations happening in my comment section when it comes to obsessing over your manifestation and why it's wrong for you or why it's good for you, if you should do it or not should do it. I said I was going to make a video on it like a while back. I forgot to do that. But now suddenly there is a weird TV show or movie called Obsession that everyone's talking about. And there's like memes about it and stuff. And I'm like, you know what a great time to talk about it. You know, maybe the word obsession in the title gets pushed into the algorithm, and people who watch the movie Obsession might actually be enlightened and spiritually awake for the first time in their lives. So why not go for it? Okay. So that's really the inspiration of today's video. It's not as in-depth and as inside the community and law of assumption when it comes to the inspiration I get from my other videos. But yeah, today we're going to talk about obsession, and we're going to talk about how it can be good for you and how it can be bad for you. And if you should be obsessed with the manifestation, if you should maybe create some distance when it comes to your manifestation. Are you obsessing over the techniques? Should you create some distance and actually not do that many techniques? We're going to go through it all in today's video. So I'm going to help you guys with that today. If you do need more help with me, there is a link in the description at skool.com, SKOOL. It is a group chat, so you can ask me questions in there. You can buy the annual pack or you can buy the monthly pack. So if you do need more help with me, check out the bottom link in the description for that. Awesome. All right, let's get into the video. So, let's talk about obsession. How it can be good for you and how it can be bad for you. Let's start off with the bad, because a lot of you guys are focused on doing it. You guys are focused on more the errors in your ways. And that's far more of a highlight in today's video, the bad. When it comes to the bad and how obsession can actually hinder your manifestation, it is without a doubt impatience. If you obsess over your desire and you are constantly thinking about it 24/7, you essentially don't have a life outside of it, and you basically put your life on hold, which I really do not recommend. Do not put your life on hold unless you're like me and you're really confident and you know you'll get it. So maybe if you're in the upper prestige level, do it. But if you're kind of like a rookie in this space, Lightning McQueen level, I wouldn't recommend it. You might need to take a few years after the draft, stay in the minor leagues for a little bit, and then move on to the big leagues. But don't put your life on hold. And if you do obsess over your desire, what's going to happen is that you're going to be impatient. And because you're impatient, you're going to end up looking at the 3D. You're going to constantly ask yourself, where is it? Like, I'm looking at it. I keep telling you guys not to look at it, but you're like, I'm looking at the 3D. I can't stop. I'm so impatient. And it's because I'm so obsessed. It's like, no, you're not necessarily obsessed with doing manifestation. You're just obsessed with the 3D. And you eventually become obsessed with spiraling. And this impatience is a feeling that's crawling on your back. You can feel it. You can feel the impatience, and it's just not good. So when it comes to obsession, not the movie, of course, but when it comes to obsession in manifestation, don't obsess over it being here. Don't obsess over the 3D. If you can obsess over it and you can ignore the 3D and you can obsess over it in the sense that you're daydreaming or fantasizing about it, or you're doing techniques to make yourself feel good about it, essentially trying to feel the fulfillment that you would feel if you already had it, that's fine. That's the good part about obsession. If you can obsess over it to the point where you can obsess over the living in the end part, if you can obsess over living in the end and living as if you already have it, then that's fine. Because at the end of the day, that's what I teach regardless. I teach all the time. It is repetition. It is repetition and persistence that will get your desire. Not a very high frequency, not a once a day fulfillment, feeling of fulfillment. It is the constant repetition and constant persistence of you living in the end that will bring your desire here. Because again, your goal is just to change your identity, your mental identity when it comes to your desire or you in general, or your self-concept, I guess. If you can obsess over it and persist in it, and obsession leads to persistence, and persisting in the end goal of already having it, then that's fine. You can completely obsess over that. It really doesn't matter. That is completely fine. But if you obsess over it too much to the point where maybe for a week you're decently persistent, and you have the repetition in your head, but in a week you get so obsessed with it that you basically start looking at the 3D and you ask yourself, why isn't it here? Why isn't it here? I'm so sick of this. And you get into that impatient spiral. And when you get into that impatient spiral, that is wavering. And that is the one thing you can do. The only thing, I've said this hundreds of times on this channel, the only thing you can do is waver or doubt. The word Satan in the Bible means doubt. And that's what we believe here on this channel, at least. If you translate the words to its original text, it means adversary, doubt, in Hebrew. So, yeah, that's the problem. You don't want to waver because wavering is doubting. That's the only thing you can do. Like I said, the golden rule when it comes to manifestation is don't waver and just affirm when it comes to affirmations. And naturally, if you obsess over it and you know you're going to spiral and you know naturally going to spiral, you're just going to doubt and you're going to end up spiraling and you're not going to get it. So that is the downfall. That is the other side of the coin when it comes to obsession. So now let's talk about techniques. Should you obsess over manifestation in terms of like techniques? No, I wouldn't recommend that either. When it comes to techniques, I highly recommend you just get one. You can filter out your techniques. So if you're someone who says, I do affirming, but you're like, well, I do affirming, but when I affirm, I see an image in my head. So I kind of do a combination of the two. That is completely fine. That is completely fine. It's not going to be one of those things where you do fentanyl and get drunk at the same time. It's not like that. Like you're fine. Okay, you're just mixing a little bit of fries with ketchup, basically. You're not mixing fentanyl with any other drugs. That is completely fine. You can choose the combination of techniques if you want to like find your own technique and you don't want to necessarily go into these like label techniques that we give, like affirmation, state akin to sleep or whatever. You can mix and match the techniques. But whatever technique you do, stay in it for a month before you just change it. I know many of you just do these techniques for like a week and then you're like, well, it's not here. Let me change the technique. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. No, stay in it for at least a month or at least 15 days. How about that? At least do 15 days. Because too many of you hit the reset button and you essentially go back in time and you just reduce the progression bar back down to 0 and you're back at rookie mode. You don't want to be there. You basically are back in the crib. It's just back in the carriage. It's just not a good thing. You shouldn't obsess over techniques in terms of doing all the techniques at the same time, moving from technique to technique. That is bad. However, you can obsess over doing one technique. You can put certain things in your life on hold. So I would recommend if you're someone who walks home from the gym or you walk home from school, you can put on hold the music. Like if you're someone who walks home and you listen to music, you can not listen to music and you can just affirm. You can put like certain things on hold in your life. Definitely don't do it for everything in your life. But you can obsess over the techniques and do the techniques 24/7 if you really want to. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. But only thing you can do and the only thing you have to be careful of is wavering. If your obsession over doing the techniques or your obsession over your desire, if it leads to impatience, then it's going to naturally lead to spiraling and it's going to naturally lead to wavering. And then the devil wins because the devil and Satan, all those words, mean the same thing. And then you get screwed. And then you're going to come to 100 of my videos and you're going to give me money to give you advice or something. And I'm going to tell you the same thing. It's like, dude, like all the free advice I give you, I'm just going to basically parrot that to you, and now you just wasted money trying to talk to me, even though I'm telling you don't obsess over it. Like, obsess over in your imagination, ignore the 3D. You can do that if you want, but you should live somewhat of a healthy manifestation lifestyle, because this is a lifestyle. This isn't like you get your manifestation one time and the story's over. Like, every single person who understands the law of assumption, this is a lifestyle for us. Maybe you can even throw it's kind of like a religion to us, but even it's not organized, I'm not saying you're going to go to hell if you don't believe me and all this stuff. That's more for organized religion. That's my point is, but that's my point of today's video. Just be careful. You can obsess over certain things as long as you don't spiral. Don't get the impatient feeling. Do everything else. You can obsess over it as long as it's positive, as long as you're thinking positive about it, you're fine. You can obsess over being positive about it. That's called repetition. That's called affirming like 30,000 times a day. Everyone, there's so many videos on YouTube where people have affirmed 30,000 times or like 10,000 times or whatever, and they get their desire. That's also pretty close to obsession. Anyways, so yeah, hopefully this video helps some of you guys out when it comes to obsession. Hopefully answer some of you guys' questions. And yeah, if this did help you and you need more help, you can go to the bottom of the description at school.com and you can ask me questions there in this group chat. You can buy the monthly pack. You can also buy the annual pack, whichever one suits you best. But yeah, that's the message of today's video. Be careful with obsession. Obsess over the positives. Don't obsess over the negatives. That's kind of the conclusion, and to put a bow around it. But yeah, anyways, that's for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah. Bye.